Amsoil runs on freedom and has since 1972. We changed the industry by formulating the first API-qualified 100% synthetic motor oil. The rest of the market has been trying to follow our lead ever since. But a head start is a head start. We punish our products firsthand in our world-class laboratories and beyond. Because some things can't be learned from a test tube. Run with us.
Live from Avondale, Arizona, we welcome race fans one and all back to Green Flag TV, where we get set to go racing once again in the High Tide Racing League MF Racing Designs Cup Series tonight, sponsored by Amsoil for your running here in this one for the Amsoil 150. It's going to be a fun race here tonight with 150 laps around the Phoenix Raceway, a track that was once playing host, of course, to the Real World NASCAR Cup Series finale. Not here in the High Tide Racing League, though. It plays host around number 4 with, of course, swinging down to Concord for the last race of the season. And, of course, it's one of those racetracks that can always go either way when it comes to attrition. Either it's going to be a clean race or it is going to, well, let's just say we're going to be knocking out some cars before the end of this race into a junkyard lot. For now, though, I think it'll be a fun ride for everybody involved in this one. Of course, you got that dog leg that's going to be an ever-present talking point throughout the course of the evening. And there is never a dull moment when you get around to Avondale, Arizona. I mean, on Green Flag TV alone, there's been so many exciting races here in the past. Looking back to the OMSRL Xfinity Series, the TNG GI Racing Esports League, of course, having some thrilling races with themselves, with those series over here over the last month and a half or so. So there's a lot to play for here at Phoenix, Arizona. You can tell over the schedule as well, there's still a lot to play for as well. When it comes down to the calendar, you see so far looking for one of our first tracks where we get to really properly use that brake pedal, right? And we go to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway 1 week from now for our first road course race of the season. The first of what is only 2 road course races on the season. And interestingly enough, Watkins Glen is not the other one. Circuit to the Americas, of course, in the round of 16. So this is the lone road course race, or will be the lone road course race next week throughout the course of the regular series season. So there's, again, a lot on the line here for a lot of these drivers as we'll be looking set to tally everything out. You've got about 90 seconds left in qualifying, and for the most part, everybody's looking to be gridded on up. It's a smaller field than we're used to seeing over the last several races. Currently, I believe, 26 registered to take to the racetrack. A very low number from the 30 to 40 car fields we were seeing at Las Vegas Motor Speedway and the Auto Club Speedway a couple of weeks ago. But, of course, Phoenix, it's not everybody's track. Personally, I love calling races here. Absolutely hate driving this place. Could never, ever figure out the line on both the newer versions and the old. So that's something that a lot of these drivers are going to be having a lot to struggle with, right? The ever-changing lines, and we're going to be racing this one into the evening as well, so expect for the lights to be flicking on before this race is complete tonight as well. So less than 60 seconds are left on the clock. You look to some of the drivers that have not put down laps. Look at Hunter Carson and Alonso Chicano. Will Turnbull, Rick Thompson, Dakota Knoll, and Samuel Lawson, 19th on up, have all put down times. There's about a second and a half separating Benjamin Lacey on the provisional pole time from Ethan Fonseca Moreno way down in the number 19 position. So there's, I think, all of that set in mind. We should be seeing an exciting race tonight. How many cautions will there be? That is a question I'm sure a lot of drivers are kind of wondering about, and it's a question I personally am wondering about as well. I'm sure we'll get all the views on how all this is going to shake down, though, over the next little while. For now, the grid is set, and we are ready to see how this field is going to line on up as we'll get set to go racing for 150 laps in the Amsoil 150. Benjamin Lacey starts this race on pole position. He's going to be having, of course, Cody Welch started beside him on that front row. Moving on down to the field, you'll have the likes of Ricky Hart Jr. down in 3rd. It'll be Bridger Olson in 4th. 5th place will be Sean Britt with Curtis Yancey in 6th. Tony Hilbrand's in 7th with Kevin Foster in 8th. Austin McGill is 9th. Eddie Hagge rounds out the top 10. Moving down through the field, You've got Jonathan Canfield and Michael Thorpe Jr. 13th and 14th. Just shy of them, of course, Dalton Kilbro and Brian Dees on row number 6. Connor Gibson and Jason Greenwell are 15th and 16th. Paul Wilson, David Leakey, and Ethan Fonseca Moreno round out the cars that qualified for this race. From there, you've got the likes of Rick Thompson, Hunter Karsten, Alonso Chicano, Samuel Lawson, Dakota Knoll, and William Turnbull. So that is it then for the drivers that are looking to be starting this race. And we're going to get ourselves all sorted on up here before too long, as we'll get set to turn these 25 cars loose around, of course, the Phoenix Raceway, and we'll see how everything's going to line on up and what this race has in store for the championship as we continue to march further and further into that title fight here tonight. Car starting to work out onto the racetrack, this time by Benjamin Lacey, of course, the one to lead us to the green flag. And it's going to be a Ford Chevy 1-2, only one Toyota in this field, driven by Ethan Fonseca Moreno way down in the 18th position. So it's really some American muscle looking to take it to the grid here on this one with almost no Toyota representation. It's a curious sight. Usually you've seen a few Toyotas around, but not a sight this time around. But we're happy that you're joining us here for some more Monday Night Cup Series racing action, and welcome back, of course, if you're just tuning in for the Pro Kart Concepts Road Challenge Series. For now, though, we'll work through turn numbers 3 and 4. This time by, leave it in the hands of the iRacing starter. 150 laps in the Arizona desert, about to kick off. Green flag is up in the air. Trouble already. A couple of cars spinning around in the background. Michael Thorpe Jr. will spin, tags the outside wall, and that puts us under caution flag number 1 on just the opening lap of your race here in this one. So Lacey leads the way at the green. Thorpe and it looks like David Leakey has also had problems, and there's a few drivers, in fact, that have not made it to the starting call. And in fact, out of the 26, we've only got 20 now that are looking to make starts. Cody Welch, Samuel Lawson, Alonso Chicano, Will Turnbull, Dakota Knoll, all are not able to make it to the grid on this one. So only 20 cars lined it up here for your race here at the Phoenix Raceway. As here's what happened entering turn number 1. All bit of help from behind. It looks like Canfield. Whoa, the 69 of Connor Gibbs came flying in with the big head of steam, and that's what spun Thorpe around. And then what happened back here to David Leakey? This is when all this was going on. Oh, Leakey got loose. And, looped the back end by himself. Maybe got a bit of help from the 36 of Hunter Karsten. So all of that puts us under caution flag number 1. Well, it's an interesting race then for us here tonight as we'll get set to kick things off. And we'll be right back as we're under caution flag number 1 early on from the Phoenix Raceway.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Avondale, Arizona, where we are overlooking the Phoenix Raceway here on this deal for coming to the conclusion of caution flag number 1. It occurred down at turn 1 when Michael Thorpe Jr. got spun around by the 69 of Connor Gibson entering the opening corner. So a messy way to kick off the race tonight, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a bad race. Look at the TNGG race. It was a bit of a messy start there in Texas just this last Saturday, and ended up being one of the most thrilling races they've had all season long. Lacey will be the one to take us back down to that green flag this time by. And so you'll have Bridger Olsen starting to his outside. Ricky Hart Jr. and Sean Britt will line it up in 3rd and 4th for row number 2. We will work our way in towards turn numbers 3 and 4 this time by, as into the Geico restart zone we go. Green flag is back in the air and we're underway. Side by side each down in towards turn number 1 for the race lead. Olsen and Lacey locked in side-to-side combat here. Around the top side will go Bridger Olsen, and he'll look to score the race lead out of turn 2, working to the back straightaway. Trying to make to our first lap green. Rick Thompson hits pit road. We're 3 wide, just tucked in behind, but it's all eyes up front in the battle for the race lead. Olsen clears. He'll lead the first lap to green just barely from the top shelf. Bridger Olsen, Benjamin Lacey ducking way down onto the apron. Whoa, look out, a couple of cars going around in the background. And again, the 16 of Jonathan Canfield spinning sideways. He's collected by the 22. And caution's out for the second time of the day. Ethan Fonseca Moreno caught up in this one. So more trouble in the opening corners. And this all stemmed from that dog leg on the front stretch. Whoa, Canfield. Body slammed the outside wall. He got tagged by Moreno, and Moreno spun sideways and just clobbered him. The 36 of Hunter Karsten got a pretty hefty piece of that deal as well. Wow, you can see even the 83 of starting to get loose in all of that mess. And man, Cody Welch just barely avoiding all of the carnage way in the background here. On board with Welch. Sees all the mess developing and jumps on the brakes. Oh, a little bit of a tip check there, but I don't think anything to be too concerned about. It's just something about that transitioning in the dog leg, right? And this is a big problem that that a lot of drivers, I think, have struggled with. And I remember when my own league ran here several months ago. It was the same problem. The dog leg was catching everybody out. And the problem is there's a little bit of a divot in there. And at that divot, the diffuser on the back end bottoms out, or has a tendency to bottom out, and it kind of lifts the back end up, and it causes you to break traction. It's not a problem that any other car has. It is exclusive to the Gen 7s. So that's it's going to be something to watch out for over the course of the evening here in this one, as you've got, out of the 25 scheduled to start, 19 are currently on the racetrack. Canfield and Moreno are both in the pit road, but they're working their way out of pit road now, so they'll be able to rejoin the tail end of this field. Cody Welch sits as the lone driver 1 lap down, way at the tail end of the field, and he was looking to get the lucky dog with this incident. Unfortunately, was not able to, because once you get caught up in a wreck, even if it's just a small hit after the fact like he had, it doesn't matter. You're going to be finding yourself down and out for this race. So you'll watch the neon cactus as the lights will remain on over the Phoenix Raceway. So iRacing team, it is not time to go back to green flag racing just yet. So we'll get the chance to take a look kind of up and down throughout this field, and we'll see, why not? Let's see if we can't get in touch with any of these guys potentially out here in the race, as a whole host of them kind of finding their way with some bit of trouble. Why not? Let's talk to Cody Welch here, the driver that runs currently 1 lap down to the 21st position. Cody, this is Noel Rempel up here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Well, not the way you wanted to start this race. Obviously, you were hoping for the lucky dog this time around. Didn't happen because of that small little tag, but do you reckon you have hopes that you can get that lucky dog later on and get back to fighting with these guys?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm the only one a lap down. Luckily, it was only 1 lap. My simulator crashed. My iRacing just quit working. on the start there, so I had to reboot and get back in it. But yeah, if I get another caution here quick, get this lap back and hopefully charge to the front. That's the plan.
So the game plan then, still going to try to go for a race win?
Yep, still going to go for it.
All right, I like to hear it. We'll let you get back to work.
Thank you, sir.
It's Cody Wells joining us up, sitting currently 21st place, 1 lap down as the lights go out aboard the iRacing safety car. And we'll go green flag racing this time by Benjamin Lacey opting for the inside on the restart. Bridger Olson in the 02 Chevrolet. We'll work to the top shelf. Olson and Lacey will now work into turn numbers 3 and 4. And we'll fire it back out of the gate onto the front straightaway. We'll see if we can make it more than a handful of laps this time by. Into the restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. Benjamin Lacey cleared for the race lead down the back straightaway, a bit further behind. It's a bit of a hornet's nest with multiple cars going side by side down the backstretch and in towards turn numbers 3 and 4. You got the 28 of Ricky Hart Jr. working the top shelf, trying to get up and around Kevin Foster down on the bottom. And so he'll take that one way down and on to the apron through the dogleg. More and more cars, meanwhile, work their way around that top shelf. The 17 kind of getting mixed up in all of this mess as there is a huge gaggle working down to the 3 and 4. Kilroe, the 69 of Gibson. You got D's in the mix. As we go 3 wide, make it almost 4 wide down through the dog leg that time by in the run towards turn 1. Gibson and Thorpe were alongside. They're going to get themselves single filed out. Ricky Hart Jr. trying to get up and around Kevin Foster with Eddie Hagee. Kind of waiting just in the wings behind. Kevin Foster, though, making good use of that dog leg to try to keep this gap steady. You see so many drivers aggressively attacking that dog leg, not want to take the chance that they two bottom out. Look out as the 97 of Eddie Hagee spins it around. He'll back it up. Oh, and he is absolutely nailed by Austin McGill in the Amsoil 99. McGill forced into pit road as Eddie Hagee got absolutely clobbered there. Heavy, heavy crash that time by. And here's what happened to Hagee. As this is working through turn 2. Lost the back end, and good night. Gosh, that is a heavy, heavy shot. Try to get a look or two more on this one, and this is gonna be first from the air, as you'll see. Just drifted up and just barely nicked the 97. That's all it takes, and then loops it. Bang! Nowhere for McGill to go. On board with Eddie Hagee as, yeah, just a small little tap to the back end and spins it around, and then look out for McGill. Oh! Try to funnel to the bottom. There just wasn't any room there for McGill to go. It's going to be on board with that number 99 car as you're going to see the start development front. Look there, you can see the spin. Oh, the sun. So it was So a combination of factors, and I think that tells a big story there, right? Austin McGill had been blinded by the sun there on top of trying to get down low. So it's a combination of trying to anticipate where Austin's going to go, and then you get the blinding sunlight as well. Man, that is a tough break there for Austin McGill. And honestly, I can't even blame McGill for that. That's just wrong place, wrong time. Tony Hilbrand's just squeaking through this mess. is, whoops, lock it down. A fairly nice job on getting through that. Recognize what's going on and back it down. So Tony Hilbrands will see himself in a 7th now as a result of all of that. Well, caution flag out for the 3rd time in less than 20 laps. We'll jump back. We'll be back in time for the restart.
Amsoil runs on freedom and has since 1972. We changed the industry by formulating the first API-qualified 100% synthetic motor oil. The rest of the market has been trying to follow our lead ever since. But a head start is a head start. We punish our products firsthand in our world-class laboratories and beyond, because some things can't be learned from a test tube. Run with us.
Pace car is off. Benjamin Lacey and Bridger Olsen once again sit 1-2 as we'll get set to restart this race for lap number 20 of 150 in the Amsoil 150 for the High Tide Racing League MF Racing Designs Cup Series. Green flag is back in the air and we take it back down towards turn 1. Lacey taking it way down to the bottom. Olsen and Yancey trying to run with it as we hightail it down the back straightaway and in towards turn numbers 3 and 4. Looks like Lacey will be able to pull clear. Whoa, and already we got trouble, and Thorpe is around. Caution number 4 in just 21. Oh, wow. So it is, well, it's getting there. Michael Thorpe Jr. is the next driver to bring out a caution flag, and we didn't get the chance to talk about him much under the last caution flag, but Cody Welch, well, I'm going to rephrase from speaking just yet because I was going to say Cody Welch, that was the caution the last time by on caution 3 that he was hoping for to get back onto the lead lap, which he did do. He was back on the lead lap, but unfortunately now it's looking like he is, there he is. He's back in fray. I was hoping thinking maybe he had dropped for a second, but no, he is back onto the racetrack, and Cody Welch with the lead lap can start the charge of the field. Here's what happened to Thorpe. Tony Hilbrands on the inside. I don't think he has anything to do with it, and the 69 again making contact, and that sends Thorpe around. I'm not sure though if that had anything to do with. I'm not quite sure though if that was actually. That was Connor Gibson's fault. We're going to look at this one here. Well, he didn't go down as much as he could have. Thorpe, though, didn't give him a lot of room to work with either. I think, honestly, that's just a racing incident. Two drivers coming together at the same point on the racetrack tends to do that. So all 21 cars now sit on the racetrack as I'll look further down throughout the field. We'll see if we can find some drivers to talk to here on this one as we are under caution flag number 4. Well, I was going to at least, but of course with us being only with this only being down on the excuse me, with everybody on the lead lap, it's looking like we're going to be having a quick yellow here on this one. So the lights are already out, and we'll get set to go green flag racing this time by. I'm not complaining. You like to see it. Shorter yellows means more green flag racing, so we get to get back to action sooner. Lacey going to be in control as Olsen will pick up the number 2 spot. Curtis Yancey, Sean Britt, Rickard Hart Jr., Kevin Foster lock out the top 3 rows. To the restart zone, green flag in the air, and we're back underway. Hightailing it down into turn number 1, this time by Lacey. Trying to pull clear. Bridger Olsen working to his outside as we fire it down the back straightaway. A couple of cars getting a bit crossed up, but it's looking like for the most part we're going to be all smooth sailing. Further down the field, Brian Dees working the top side of the 86 of Paul Wilson, and he's got Gibson tucked just in behind. Look out as Canfield now spins it around, and he'll collect the 16 of Canfield again. So Greenwell and Canfield both going around. Jason Greenwell and Jonathan Canfield bring out caution flag number 5. And again, just loops the back end of the 83 car. And oh man, Canfield just had nowhere to go. We'll ride on board with Canfield. Oh! Heavy T-bone shot right to the door. And we're under the 5th caution flag, averaging only about 2-3 laps at the moment per yellow. Well, again, this lets us get the chance to talk to the odd driver over here in this one. And you know what? Why not? Let's see what it's been about that section of the racetrack that has kind of caused all the chaos that we've seen tonight. We'll see if we can't get in touch with the BC SimSport driver, Jason Greenwell. Jason, this is Noel Rempel up here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, it's been an interesting start to the race so far, and obviously you've just found out that the transition likes to bite back. What do you think it is about that section here in these cars today that's been such a problem?
Oh, well, if you kiss them at all with your left tires there, it's just a snap. You're heading around, pointing the wrong direction, so, you know, sadly it got me there, and hopefully we end up, you know, getting a little bit of clean running here for too long.
Now, fingers crossed on that deal. Obviously, you're still, it looks like you're going to be 1 lap down now as a result of all that, but no doubt more caution still to come. What's going to be the goal throughout the course of the night?
Hopefully, you know, actually use the fast repair this time and keep it clean. So.
Well, you're not the first driver to make that mistake, trust me. And you're not going to be the last. I'm willing to bet even tonight you won't be the first one.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Well, let's get back.
Tonight.
I was going to say, well, let's get back down to work. Good luck out there in the rest of the race.
Right. Have a good one, man.
Oh, boy, that was Jason Greenwell, the driver for BC SimSport, forgetting to take his fast repair under caution. But, hey, he's a good sport about it, and I like a guy that's able to kind of laugh with his own mistakes. It's makes it fun. It's a fun league, right? I mean, this isn't – we're not talking Peak Series or Coca-Cola Racing Series, excuse me, at this point. And we're not talking NIS. This is a group of guys. We're getting together Monday nights. We're having a good time. And lights are out aboard the active safety car. Jason Greenwell will not be able to catch the tail end of the pacing field in time. So, well, 6th time's the charm. I believe that would make this now. Yeah, about that. I'm not sure if that's quite how the saying goes, though we've long since passed 3. So, well, who knows? We are approaching 1/5 distance in this one. Benjamin Lacey takes us back into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. Lacey clears for the first spot down into turn 2, and down the back stretch, Bridger Olsen trying to follow suit. Curtis Yancey runs in third, just behind. Ricky Hart Jr. tags along in the number 4 spot. So now rounding lap 30. Oh, that's bold for Hart to try to push Yancey down in towards turn number 1. And look out as Yancey bobbles it up! And a caution going to save the 51 as we've got a pile-up down in turn 2. Gibson and Haggy are the main 2 offenders here in this one, as we'll get a look on what brings out caution flag number 6. Oh, Brian Dees coming together with Connor Gibson, and Austin McGill gets collected, Eddie Haggy. Then you see Haggy kind of getting involved. Oh, and the Gibson spun it out again, just trying to get back down the racetrack. So that's, again, it's a tough break for Gibson to that deal, as this is going to be the look down through turn number 1. Watch the right side of your screen to see them enter stage right. And already around and sideways. And, oh, Brian Dees got hooked up the road as well. So Brian Dees getting a pretty hefty piece of this in his number 17 car, as who's he been tipped by? Oh, he's been finished off by the 76 there. And gets still straightened out, back onto the racetrack. So caution number 6 in just 30 laps. I don't think it's been a race that the High Tide Racing League is going to be wanting to remember anytime soon. Ethan Fonseca Moreno is now one of the drivers that is down and out of the fight. I believe Jonathan Canfield may very well be joining him here pretty soon. Well, we'll be able to kind of looking around. I'm trying to figure out who I want to give a chat to next. That's the beauty, right, of having Cautionville races. You get to meet the drivers a lot. You get to get a lot more inside thoughts what's going on in these guys' heads throughout the course of this race, which is not something we do a whole lot when we're under green for obvious reasons. And usually when I have Austin Estrom here with me, we're able to kind of rebound off of each other. Of course, he was unable to make it here tonight as he had commitments elsewhere. So, well, you get to hear my lovely voice throughout the course of the evening, exclusive on Green Flag TV. Let's see if you can't get in touch with Curtis Yancey here. We'll see if you can't talk to the Yancey Racing number 51. Curtis, this is Nolan Rampel up here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Hello, can you hear me?
I got you loud and clear. Well, Curtis, you're in the number 3 spot right now, but you almost weren't. Kind of walk us through turn 1 right before that caution that saved you.
Yeah, I guess I got on the brakes a little too hard, got a little loose, and almost put it in the wall, but we didn't, so keep moving, keep rolling, just be patient.
You're in a good spot so far. It's been a bit of a topsy-turvy opening 3 races for you here in this one. This is one of the highest spots you've been in all season long. What are you going to have to do to make sure... Excuse me. What are you going to have to do to make sure that you can stay there by the end of this one?
Based on the way things are going, just survive. Let everyone wreck themselves out and be there at the end.
Well, fair enough. We'll let you get back to work. Good luck out there for restart number 7.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Curtis Yancey from the Yancey Racing crew, driving the number 51 car, currently up 3 positions. He sits in 3rd after starting down in 6th. Green flag going to be coming on out this next time by... Benjamin Lacey sits on that pole position still. Bridger Olsen so far has not been able to mount much of a charge for him. We'll see if Yancey's able to have a say about any of these guys. But if I'm honest on anything, I'm willing to bet Lacey's going to clear. That's what the trends have been saying. He has so far led all bar 1 lap for the Phoenix Raceway here tonight. Into turn numbers 3 and 4. Into the Geico Racing zone. Green flag is back up and in the air. And Lacey once again hightails it down to the green flag. Curtis Yancey trying to pick off Bridger Olsen down into turn numbers 1 and 2, but Olsen, meanwhile, looking for the high side as we work down the back straightaway here on this one. Oh, into the outside wall goes Kevin Foster, and it looks like Sean Britt followed, not Sean Britt, the 86 of Paul Wilson followed them in. Now Tony Hilbrand's getting around a spinning Paul Wilson as Wilson bobbled big time up the track in turn numbers 1 and 2, and I can tell you right now, Thorpe's had to scare of his life, and we got Sean Britt now spinning down to the bottom. No caution, though, because he's too far down to force a yellow flag. So Britt's going to be sitting there for a while now, trying to get the car unstalled and back moving, while Benjamin Lacey takes it through 1 and 2. Here's what happened to Sean Britt. Kevin Foster on his outside. Have you had contact? No, lost it on the transition. Overcorrected. And around goes the Apex Sim Racing Chevy. Tags the inside wall, not a lot of damage, so she'll be able to get back rolling here before too long. Didn't even lose a lap. Austin McGill, though, will loop it on the backstretch as well, and he's just able to wrestle his car underneath him. So it's getting interesting here from the Phoenix Raceway, as a lot of drivers now having problems. Here's what happened to McGill, working out of turn number 2, loops the back end and almost spins it around, just able to lock it down and loses a handful of spots. It's better than nothing, though, and oh, well, there we go. Pile up on the backstretch. I see Thorpe in there. Oh, Benjamin Lacey, the race leader's involved. So Lacey is down out of the race lead now, and Bridger Olsen will take up the number 1 spot. Take a look. Lacey all by himself out of turn 2. Loops it around, and he is going to spin it up into the traffic. And Michael Thorpe Jr., I think, just tried to spin to avoid. Oh, and he wasn't the only one, as one of these guys took a hard shot into the outside wall. Going to look on board with Thorpe. Man, just was too aggressive trying to get around that. He got tagged by Tony Hilbrands. There's Lacey getting loose up the road, and then Thorpe, just, sorry, got tagged by Foster, looked like it then. Hilbrand's also going to put it to the outside wall, and that was the 9, I believe. Kind of got into that mess. Oh, the 76 maybe? Rick Wishin? No, Hunter Karsten tagged the outside wall. Well, the hits keep coming and they don't stop coming. Caution flag number 7 out from Avondale, Arizona at the Phoenix Raceway. We're going to take another jump back. You're watching the Amsoil 150 on Green Flag TV. into 3 and 4. Bridger Olsen now will take us to the green flag for the first time in the race for himself, and he fires it out of the gate. Curtis Yancey trying to pick up the number 2 spot just behind. Well, everybody else tries to scramble to get themselves sorted, looking for 3 wide down the inside. Yancey trying to take to the top shelf. Yancey's into the outside wall. Just scrapes along, and is now we're going to be 3 wide, working down the back straightaway. Yancey pulls clear for the number 3 spot. He'll now try to fight to the bottom to get around Ricky Hart Jr. So Yancey turning up the aggression here from Avondale as Bridger Olsen pulls clear with the race lead out of turn number 4. Oh, crash, hard crash into the outside wall. Look, we're still wrecking. Lacey face first into it. And he is not the only one. Brian Dees, Austin McGill, Eddie Hagee, the big one on the front straightaway. Hard hits all around. That was one of the hardest wrecks, one of the most vicious hits I think we have seen all night so far. And here's what happened. I'm willing to bet it's that dog-like transition again. Oh, no, McGill might have gotten into Lacey. Oh, hard hit into the wall. And Kevin Foster, it looks like, had a bit of a hand to play as well. Whoa, loops the back end and slides up. No, just gets into Hagee as Dees and McGill get collected up the road. So it's a lot that went down here. I'm going to try to get a better view as Eddie Hagee kind of got caught up as well as, oh, he tagged at the 86. That sent them into the outside wall. And it was just on from there. And then, man, Brian Dees just, I'm not sure what Dees was up to. We'll get it right on board. See if he got loose. Oh, check it up. Ducks around Lacey and, oh, Austin McGill. Just nothing he could have done there to get around that. Tough break for McGill, as he's going to find himself now stranded against, or relegated at least, to spots further down the field. As that is now the 8th caution we have had tonight. And that dog leg is just not having it tonight. It has been taking cars out left, right, front, and center, and that's gonna be the big problem. I think that a lot of these guys are gonna be looking to fight against. We'll look. We'll look around throughout the course of this field, and why not, we'll get in touch with Dalton Kilroe, the driver that currently runs 6th place up on the racetrack. Dalton, this is Nolan Rempel up here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Sir.
Well, you're running the number 6 spot. You've been able to duck around so far all of the mess we've had in this race, but it's not going to get much easier as the night goes along and this field starts to whittle down.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to get easier, especially as gets into the later laps here. I mean, I know we're barely a third of the way through this race, and we've already had so much happen. Definitely not what we expected when we got everybody together like this, but unfortunately, this track and everybody's different kind of driving styles are still kind of learning each other's. It's taking a little longer than expected, but hopefully for the next race, it'll be better. I know it's a road course. There's not going to be any full course cautions for that, but the next time it's not a road course, hopefully it's going to be a bit better than this.
We saw the dog leg so far has been causing a lot of the problems, and it's been just cars getting loose. It's looking like it's been the car, particularly the diffuser, bottoming out and lifting the rear end off the racetrack. How do you combat something like that you have no control over?
Well, the only way you can really combat it is just how you attack the apron. Like if you end up having too much wheel in it, that's when the bottoming out tends to really happen. Plus, if you wait a little bit too late for, before you actually go down to the apron, it's more of a violent transition. So just, getting down to the apron earlier and then just keeping as little wheel in it as possible helps. But obviously, that's a little bit difficult in this car. But guys are trying it still, and hopefully we get a good green flag run here on this one.
Fingers crossed. We'll let you get back to work. Good luck out there.
Thank you.
It's Dalton Kilrow joining us up from the MFRD camp as they'll restart this race 6th on the outside. Pace car is in. Bridger Olsen will lead us back to that green flag this time by, as we'll see if the dog leg will strike again. Bridger Olsen leads the way out of turn 4. So Olsen with that race lead, trying to hang on as Curtis Yancey scores the number 2 spot. Ricky Hart Jr. picks up 3rd, gets around Cody Welch. Welch having, of course, started this race down for pit road after having a technical failure, and now he, after getting the lucky dog, fighting in the top 5, exactly what Welch wanted to see. This is what he was aiming for throughout the course of this race. He's going to fight it out with Dalton Kilrow on his outside. The rest of these guys work down into turn numbers 1 and 2. Kilrow around the top. Welch trying to hang it from the bottom, and we got Hunter Karsten going around in the back. He's going to spin it out, and no caution. Brian Dees takes it to pit road. Bridger Olsen under fire, meanwhile, from Curtis Yancey. We'll get back to what happened to Hunter here in just a little while as Olsen continues to lead the way, but Curtis Yancey trying to attack and find a way to get around. Can't find the hole, though, into turn number 1. Here's what happened to Hunter Karsten. Started to lose the back end, entering turn 1, and just spun it down to the bottom side of the racetrack. And then Brian Dees looked like he had a penalty to serve as he'll make that aggressive lunge into the pit lane. Running single file. Yancey trying to run down Olsen. Hart sits in 3rd. Whoa, a bit of a bobble that time by for Curtis Yancey as Ricky Hart Jr. will try to attack from 3rd. .98 laps remaining as Yancey now takes it to the high side of 1 and 2, trying to get a run down the back straight when he's got the nose in. Bridger Olsen trying to get clear, but he's not clear yet. Now just able to get clear. Yancey doubles back. He'll fight to the inside now. Dive bombs the Honeybee Camaro down to turns 3 and 4. But Olsen able to pull clear just, Yancey losing it. Hang on as he's going to just wrestle it underneath him. And now Ricky Hart Jr. drives around the top shelf. Hart through to 2nd, Yancey to 3rd. Olsen trying to pick up the race lead, and he'll manage to keep it. Dalton Kilrow will get into 3rd as well. I was going to say I'm going to pick my words carefully, but these are not careful words at all. These are fighting words for fate. This has been the longest green flag run we've had so far all night long. Hasn't been a long one, but it's been a run where we've been able to see pace and trends get established, which is what we want to see. Michael Thorpe Jr. working to the bottom of Tony Hilbrands and trying to fend him off for 6th. All the while, down the field, Austin McGill has been involved in a few incidents tonight, trying to keep Jason Greenwell at bay. After he makes the pass, look out as the 86 Paul Wilson gets a bit crossed up out of turn 2. Meanwhile, Olsen still duking it out with Hart. And Michael Thorpe Jr. now to the inside of Cody Welch. Welch trying to drive that one high and wide around the top side of the racetrack. Working down the back stretch and in towards turn numbers 3 and 4. All the while up the road. Hart putting on the pressure to Bridger Olsen. Working down to 1 and 2. Olsen still pulling clear for that race lead and has Has Dalton Kilroe's words about how we hope this one will go a bit green and out to the end had some sort of effect? Maybe so. Thorpe clears Welch for 5th. Welch looking to fight back there. He'll take it down to the inside and once again trying to make a run for the top 5. So hard though to be able to kind of establish a pass though around the inside here. It's a multi-group racetrack. Get to the inside on entry, but the top side is going to get you any day of the week on corner X when it comes to momentum. That's where the dog leg comes into play big time, and it's how much of a risk do you want to take running through the dog leg when you're under heavy fire. Rick Thompson tucked into the fray. The driver currently running down to the number 7 spot, trying to close on up to the likes of Welch and Moore up the road. Well, it looks like Cody Welch might be starting to build a bit of a gap. Further up in this one, Curtis Yancey trying to keep himself steady. Oh, spinner on the back straightaway. Connor Gibson going around. And Gibson brings out caution flag number 9. Bridger Olsen inherits the race lead, and how many drivers will we now be seeing coming on down to the pit road, if any? Still a few that have been staying out of the racetrack since lap 1. Bridger Olsen is coming to pit road. Ricky Hart Jr., Curtis Yancey, Welch, Thompson, Hillbrands, and Moore. All down and into the lane. So yellow flag pit stops now underway for a good chunk of this field as we will get a look down on everybody throughout their stalls, and I'm expecting 4 tires of fuel up throughout the entirety of your field here in this one. Well, Greenwell taking fuel only. Interesting choice from Jason Greenwell to only take a fuel stop on that one. Yancey, Hillbrands all taking tires, Thompson taking tires. In fact, Greenwell is the only driver that is opting to take fuel only in this group. We're going to look at what happened back to Connor Gibson. Down to the back straightaway to bring us under caution flag number 9 on lap number 61. I'll loop the back end. Around he goes. Whoopsie daisy, and holy Toledo Greenwell. Just barely avoiding disaster. And there's a few drivers that we're going to get looks on board with here in this one. We'll get one more look that is Gibbs again loops the back end there. Watch Greenwell on the top of the 83. Yo, down to the bottom. And then Austin McGill scrapes along by on the top. So this is first what Greenwell saw. Working out of turn number 2. Excuse me, coming through. Down to the bottom he goes. And then Austin McGill having this avoidance. Oh, just funneling by up on the top shelf. It does not get too much closer than that, as we'll get one final look with Gibson here on this deal, as take a heads up to this moment here as loops it off of turn 2, just avoids Greenwell, and then again with Austin McGill having that close call down off of the top shelf. Lights are out aboard the iRacing safety car. It is green flag racing this next time by. Pace car ducks in at pit road. We'll leave it in the capable hands of Dalton Kilroe and Michael Thorpe Jr. to take us to the green. Kilroe on 15-lap older tires in the field behind. Green flag is up. Kilroe gets away well. Here comes Kevin Foster. Working the inside, Michael Thorpe Jr. trying to go with him. Working the backstretch. And Sean Britt being put under a bit of fire just behind as well as we work out of turn number 4. Three wide down to turn 1. Greenwell tracking up and nearly making contact as Paul Wilson, Curtis Yancey, and Bridger Olson all in the fray. Oh, and a bit more of near misses there as Curtis Yancey leans on the door of Paul Wilson out of turn 4. Sean Britt. Oh, bit of contact. Wilson's into the wall. Cody Welch bobbling through it as well as we try to finally get ourselves sorted with that timing tower. We fire it down the back straightaway. But boy, that got a bit intense there for a hot minute as we thunder through turn numbers 3 and 4 to the back straightaway. Or the front straightaway. Ish. It's a front straightaway-ish. Where do you go in a mix like this? Now Britt's getting crossed up, and look out as Yancey will go around. Curtis Yancey gets turned down to the inside. No caution. Keeping it green. 3 wide again, almost 4. McGill finding the inside. Paul Wilson will go around on the top, way up to the outside wall. Tony Hillbrand's caught in the mix as the 69 of Gibson runs line astern. McGill scrapes the outside wall as we work into 3 and 4. This is where all the eyes are at the moment, as this is one of the fiercer fights we got on the racetrack. I say that though, and Bridger Olson trying to make moves to get back to the podium. He's looking to get around the outside of Kevin Foster. Gets a bit loose off the top shelf as we work down in towards turn numbers 3 and 4. Olson secures 3rd, and right behind Benjamin Lacy, who we saw tank the outside wall several laps ago. Going to try to make that look for 4th. Can't do it though down to turn 1. I think finally we can start to settle it down a bit more as Greenwell takes it to the bottom of Paul Wilson, trying to get around the 86 car while the 83 will work the bottom lane. Whoa, Greenwell is around sideways, able to save it. Just. Greenwell wrangles the 83 back underneath him. How about Cody Welch working his way back to the field? Gets around Sean Britt in the number 7. Connor Gibson and Tony Hillbrands meanwhile work 1 and 2, and the fight's on for 2nd. Olsen continuing this charge. Now Michael Thorpe Jr. is in his way. further behind, Benjamin Lacey taking very much as much liberty as he can with the dog leg on the inside there. Wanted to make sure if he's going to go down there, he's not going to get loose on the many layers of transitioning that we were talking about earlier on with the likes of Dalton Kilrow and more. Thompson, Britt Gibson, all run line astern as we hit halfway. 75 down and 75 laps to go. Bridger rolls into the inside of Michael Thorpe Jr., and this time he'll secure second. Down to the turn numbers 3 and 4. 1 and 2, my bad. Dalton Kilrow is going to be the next driver being put under fire for the race lead, and you can tell Kilrow wants to go. Looking to make that dive down into turn number 1. Can we potentially see a move for the race lead? Oh, into the outside wall. Goes Ricky Hart Jr. Again, though, no yellow flag. Wasn't going slow enough or turned around sideways enough. So Hart having a moment. This is into turn 1. Oh, lost the back end. Bobbles up and hard into the outside wall. Surprised that wasn't a yellow flag. Usually that would have been under a lot of circumstances. Olsen, meanwhile, tracking up. Trying to get to the back bumper of Dalton Kilrow. Makes the look to the inside. Sends it to the inside into turn number 1. Kilrow trying to fight back from the top shelf of the MF Racing Designs Camaro, but the Honeybee working the bottom. Still has the nose in there for 3 and 4, and I think he'll take him in the dog leg. Olsen manages to siphon through with the lead. He'll just use a bit of that transition as he works to get around Kilrow. Oh, hard into the outside wall. Big hits from Michael Thorpe Jr. As he has tanked the outside wall, he'll slam down to the inside, and as we say that, Olsen clears with the race lead. Gosh, that was a hard hit from Michael Thorpe. That again was no yellow flag. And this is how it happened. Coming around out of the dog leg. Lost the back end immediately. On board with Thorpe. Watch it here. Just snaps. Oh. Nothing you can do in a situation like that. Absolutely nothing. How about this gaggle for the battle for 5th as Tony Hilbrand tries by the inside of Kevin Foster. So battle started to pick up all over the racetrack now as we go racing into the evening. Hilbrand looks to the bottom. And it's looking like he'll get up to the inside of Foster this time by, and Hilbrand is through into 5th. Looking for a bit of 3 wide potentially down to turn 1, but it's going to single file out. Foster, Gibson's, Thompson in the mix as Foster moves up to the high side, and it's looking like Hilbrand's always starting to drive away with this position here. Cody Welch, meanwhile, made the look for a second as Dalton Kilrow lost a couple of positions here on this one. So what's happened to Kilrow? Whoa, bit of a tag to the back bumper out of turn 4, it looks like. Having to pedal it off of the final corner, and wow! Just able to get the back end underneath him. On board with Kilrow. Hang on. Oh, my apologies, Cody Welch. He was already getting loose, and woof. Bit of wheel work, bit of throttle work. Gets the back end of the 41 underneath him. Connor Gibson loses out to Rick Thompson, tries to fire back to the bottom, and like a cannon will send one down the inside of the turn one. Not able to get there as Rick Thompson going to back that one out. Take a look deeper in the pack here. Another pack of 3 starting to scrap together. This is Jason Greenwell, Paul Wilson, and Curtis Yancey, all of the scrap for 13th on the racetrack. Whoa, and Wilson getting a bit crossed up from the bottom shelf as Yancey takes over 14th. So Paul Wilson, I think, attacking the apron a bit aggressively. And how about Hillbrands? Going to be now put 3 wide with the likes of Rick Thompson and Connor Gibson on the inside. Hillbrands backs out, and he'll lose 2. Gibson's and Thompson went way down into the dog leg, taking as much room as they possibly could without hitting the inside wall there to make sure they clear the 69. Dalton Kilrow is starting to slip back as well. Remember, he has the oldest tires out of anybody in this field, and I think that's really starting to play against Kilrow as he is now gone from fighting for the lead. Now he's just trying to hang on to a top 5. Whoa, and a slip at the back end. Costs him 5th. Sorry, costs him 4th, and it could cost him 5th as well as Connor Gibson tries to line up a pass from the high side. Dead heat down in the turn 1. And Gibson will look to track clear as Ricky Hart Jr. funnels through. And now way up the track for Connor Gibson as Tony Hillbrands works to the inside. So Hillbrands on the bottom, Gibson on the top, and Hillbrands looking to be clear. No, not quite. Connor Gibson doing a good job on trying to fight that outside lane as he worked to the back straightaway this time by. I'll give Gibson some credit. He knows where to put his car if he wants to try to go on offense here as he'll now work out of turn number 4 to the front straightaway. And look at how much of the dogleg he's going to cut here just to try to get himself with a good run all the way down into turns 1 and 2. And Hillbrands again getting a phenomenal drive down to the turn 3. Brian Dees will take to the inside of Austin McGill in the meantime, so that's going to get itself sorted on out, and the racing action will continue on. You've got 93 laps going to be in the books this time by as Dees and McGill will fight it out side by side. And the 17 going to track clear and wide from the top shelf. We're going to take ourselves a quick step back, but you won't miss a moment. You're watching the Amsoil 150 from the Phoenix Raceway on the High Tide Racing League MF Racing Designs Cup Series live on Green Flag TV.
Amsoil runs on freedom and has since 1972. We changed the industry by formulating the first API-qualified 100% synthetic motor oil. The rest of the market has been trying to follow our lead ever since. But a head start is a head start. We punish our products firsthand in our world-class laboratories and beyond. Because some things can't be learned from a test tube. Run with us.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV, where we've got the battle for the 6th and 5th position starting to pick on up. Tony Hilbrands has been losing a bit of time back to Kevin Foster here in this one. If you're just tuning in, you've missed a bit of an exciting one so far. A lot of cautions in the early run, but so far we've only had about 2 in the last 50 or so laps, which is, I think, a stat we can be a little bit more proud of than the 7 or 8 that we racked up in just the first 50. You can see them working to the inside of one of the lap cars here. That would be the likes of David Leakey up from the top shelf, as Leakey will be looking to just kind of funnel down to the bottom. So Hilbrands, Foster, Hart, Britt, and Gibson all in the same all-encompassing battle pack here in this one. You see all of them on the screens, plus the green number 9 of Leakey. Benjamin Lacey sits about half a second clear of Rick Thompson for the final podium position as well. So while all that's been going on, oh, and caution flag is out for Curtis Yancey. Oh, wow, we got a bouncing hood down there, so he's tanked the inside wall, it looks like. So Bridger Olsen with the race lead. Dalton Kilrow just come down to pit road. I believe he had a black flag as well, because he spent a good 54 seconds in the box. That tells me he had a 60-second stop and hold. My bet is speeding. That's my most likely guess for you guys on that deal, as we'll get a good run of pit stops here on this one, as pretty much everybody I'd expect will be coming down pit road. Obviously, we're seeing Kilrow stay out. That's not too surprising. We're going to be seeing everybody else that pitted this last time by kind of stay out as well, as everybody else on the lead lap works into pit road. So I'll show you what happened to Yancey in just a bit. For now, here's your pit stop cycle. Expect 4 tires and fuel from, again, pretty much everybody in this field. I think you'd be a bit of a fool at this point if you did anything but. Race between Olsen and Welch to get out of pit road first, and Olsen secures the race lead. 2/10 quick in the box, then Cody Welch, and Welch will line it up number 2 on the outside. So, gonna get a look on what happened to Curtis Yancey to put us under this 10th caution flag now in this race. Scrapes the outside wall, and whoa! Oh, wow! I thought he hit the inside wall, but no, he body slammed the outside wall. Right on board. Oh, man. It just snapped immediately. That is a tremendous hit to the outside wall for Curtis Yancey. I think that's one of the most brutal hits we've seen yet to that outside wall, and that's not going to be one he's going to be coming back from. He's already used his fast repair, so I believe that is game over now for the 51 car. You take a look back to the schedule that we had, of course, entering tonight's race, and you can really, I think, see where everything's going to be shaken on up. And it's an interesting schedule, right? I mean, Indianapolis and Bristol will lock out the month of oh, wow, I just realized that. Dalton was saying he's hoping the next oval race is going to be cleaner. I'm not sure if he realized Bristol is the next oval race. Oh, boy. He's going to look back on this, and I think he might rethink those words a little bit. Kansas Speedway, though, is up next. That should be a fun ride. Pocono, Dover, Atlanta. I'm assuming the new Atlanta will be locking out. We'll lock out the regular series season before we roll to Gateway, Coda, and Darlington for the round of 16 over in November. But, again, there's a lot to play for all of these drivers, and I have a feeling this is where we're going to be seeing a lot of these guys come into play, right? Is going to be when we get down to the road course races and so on. That's where we're going to start to see what these guys are made of, as we'll turn the lights out aboard the IRC safety car, and we'll go 1 lap to green. Less than 50 to go. If ever there's a point where the aggression is going to ramp on up, it would be now. 86 degrees Fahrenheit the track temp, so it is a cold track surface, and that's not going to help these guys on a very loose surface. Field works in towards turn numbers 3 and 4. Bridger Olsen maintains the race lead. Green flag is back in the air. We're underway. Olsen has cleared well in towards turn 2 as the rest of this field hightails it out of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. One car strikeouts involved. Believe that to be Haggy down the field. No, sorry, Haggy's out of this race. That would have been somebody else entirely. Rick Thompson clears for 4th, again between himself and Cody Hilbrands. Tony Hilbrands as we work deeper and deeper in towards turn 1, way to the inside as Paul Wilson trying to pick off Sean Britt. Austin McGill takes it to the inside. And he'll secure that run from the 55 car in the Amsoil Mustang. Whoa, one car going around in the background. That would be Michael Thorpe Jr. Spinning to the inside, and he'll tag the outside wall. Rebounds down, no caution. Again, we'll keep it green. So Thorpe will spin it around, and he'll strike the inside, the outside wall, as the rest of this field will work back around with coming to 40 to go. Laps remaining as the caution flag will fly. Jonathan Canfield has been turned around off of turn 4. So it's a bit of a hornet's nest of cars at the back end of the shot, and this is with the good chunk of drivers that are near the back of the field. And oh wow, just run over by Paul Wilson. As Canfield will spin it around, and I'd imagine he's not going to be a very happy camper with Paul Wilson over that. Right on board with the 86 through that mess. I mean, there wasn't any lift there either from Paul Wilson. He said, I'm coming through whether you like it or not. So that sends Wilson now to 12th as he'll actually hit pit road. Interesting. That's all I have to say about that incident is just very, very interesting. And I wonder if we'll see race control take a look at that one post-race, or the series heads at least take a look at this one post-race. Well, see if we can get in touch with some more of the drivers here in this one. And I think what we could try to do is see if Austin McGill is available to talk to us in his Amsoil Zach Wareham Racing number 99 Ford Mustang. We'll see if we can't get in touch with your number 9 driver. Austin, this is Noel Rempel up here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I got you, buddy.
Well, it's been a topsy-turvy day for the number 99 car. You were caught up in a good chunk of the early race attrition. But, hey, you're back to the top 10. The car's looking nice, and I'd say some positions still able for you on the boards today. What's going to be the goal?
I'm just going to try and keep it clean, see if I can pick off a few of the guys in front of me. But I think at the end of the day, top 10's mainly what I'm looking forward to, so just looking to bring it home.
Currently on track then, you're going for that top 10 here in this one with you running in 9th for the restart. Do you reckon we're at the end of our caution streak, or are we going to get a few more before the end of the night?
Hopefully this is the last one, but I'm sure we'll get a few more before the end of this thing.
Well, we wish you the best of luck out there on the restart. Coming to with, I believe, will be about 34 laps to go. Best of luck. It's Austin McGill joining us up here in the number 99 car for Zachary Wareham Racing and his Amsoil 99. one of two fellow Canadians in the field, the other one being Connor Gibson. Hasn't been the night of my northern brethren here tonight. It's been interesting for Austin McGill and for Connor Gibson. They've both tangled quite a few times throughout the course of this race, and might not be the end of it either. It's a bit of an interesting run up here. Going to pull up the car logos up here for a brief moment, and you'll kind of get a good look here. This is this is the car logos. You can see the manufacturers. You got the Chevys running 1-2, and then it's a Ford Fest behind them. So interesting run to see so many Fords running up at the front of this field, and I have a feeling it's not totally on pace. It's more just the fact that the Chevys just have lucked out on getting up to the front. It's been a race of attrition here tonight. That was caution flight number 11, I believe. Now we're coming really close to. I lost track, and trying to kind of counter it now, but I do believe it was 11. That was that we're coming to a close to on this one. So we'll get back to it here as Bridger Olsen again holds the race lead. And he'll be looking to maintain as we work around in towards the front straightaway. Green flag is up as we hightail it back down towards turn numbers 1 and 2. The top two breakaway clear. Lacey trying to fight it out with Rick Thompson down on the bottom side. A lot of drivers scrambling and jockeying for position up and down throughout this field as we rip it to the back straightaway once again. Rick Thompson trying to find the bottom. Benjamin Lacey up on the top. Tony Hillbrands and Kevin Foster run in the middle. McGill trying to find it up the middle of 3 wide. That's a brave move into the dog leg. Oh, and he's going to cost him as McGill spins it around. And what a save for Austin McGill. Just wrangles that number 99 underneath him. That was absolutely legendary from Austin McGill. And that is one we have got to get a ride on board on with, as this is going to be McGill working the front stretch. As we'll have to back this one up a little bit more for you guys. You would take a look at this one coming out into the dog leg. Look at that. Had to have been some dirt track knowledge, I would reckon, to get that car back underneath him. Meanwhile, Brian Dees, Connor Gibson, and Sean Britt ripping it side by side down the backstretch into turn number 3. Oh, the 69 bobbles from the side of Gibson, and he'll lose out to Britt as a result. Oh, and now it's Ricky Hart Jr. It's almost looped the back end out of turn number 2. He'll get himself sorted as Brian Dees gets around Hart. Boy, oh boy. On these restarts, you just can never get a break. Hart going to go for the lunge down the inside. You also got Hillbrands working Foster down in turns 1 and 2 as well, down the back straightaway. And Brian Dees still tucking it in with Ricky Hart Jr. Bit further back is where he got the Hornet's Nest. McGill, Yancey, Kilroe, Wilson, Wishing, and Moore. All tucked line astern as we work down in towards the dog leg. Hard on the brakes. Yes, boy, oh boy. These guys they don't know when to take it easy, and you know what? They're racers. I wouldn't expect them to. Go big or go home. That's a very old adage in the world of sports, and esports and motorsports are absolutely no exception. Further up the road, Brian Dees, Ricky Hart Jr., Sean Britt, Connor Gibson. working nose to tail onto the back straightaway as we funnel it down and in towards turns 3 and 4 with less than 30 laps to go. Austin McGill now works to the inside of Rick Wishen. Sorry, Paul Wilson will lose out to Austin McGill as Wilson will stumble further back, and now McGill back up into 11th after his major slide. So that hope for a top 10 is still not over for Austin McGill. He still has the chance to run that down and make some moves. He's now going to try to set up Jason Greenwell, who's just over a second up the road. Bridge Rolson, Cody Welch, Benjamin Lacey. 1, 2, and 3 with a bit of a gap starting to develop here as we'll work out of turn 4. And cross back over into the dog leg and down for 1. Started to lose my voice a little bit here after what a wild night of racing it has been in general here on Green Flag TV. Brian Dees, Ricky Hart Jr. going line of stern as well as they'll run to 1 and 2. And now Hart in the big red Mustang will look to go for the over-under on Dees here. It's looking like these guys have gotten the dog leg pretty much sorted for themselves here, and I'm glad to see that. We haven't seen a lot of drivers getting caught out by that. They're starting to attack it differently, and they're utilizing the knowledge that they've gained from all this carnage early in the race to navigate it more effectively. Tell you what, Hart's leaning on that back bumper of Brian Dees here, and I don't think it's going to be long before we see Hart try to get up and around him. But for now, Hart will continue to work that middle groove, just parking the bus, not giving Ricky Hart Jr. an opening. Austin McGill, meanwhile, is caught up to Jason Greenwell. He'll take it to the bottom and pick off 10th. So a top 10 back on the cards for Austin McGill as he is following, I think, Dalton Kilbro through, and whoa, Greenwell. Where are you going, sunshine? As Greenwell way up the track. Rick Thompson takes up 11th as, boy, I don't think any of us were quite expecting that, as this is, well, this is going to be coming around through 1 and 2. I'm curious if he just got loose or if he tried to go for the bump and run and that went wrong. Oh, man. That was a heavy shot to the back bumper there. Lucky that didn't turn into a caution of its own. Still tracking Hart and Dees as we continue to run down the final few laps. We're down to 20 to go. With time very quickly starting to run out at the Phoenix Raceway. Up the road, Tony Hilbrands and Kevin Foster have been slowly been reeling. We find themselves being reeled in by this battle just behind them as well. So they got a couple of battles now starting to kind of kick off, and among them is Connor Gibson trying to keep McGill at bay. But Austin McGill on his charge will fire through to 9th. So Connor Gibson will slip back to 10th. Also got Rick Thompson in the mix here. So Rick Thompson with the chance to go for an attack. Driver running down to that number 11 spot at the moment as we work into the dog leg. It's looking like Hilbrands, though, could be finding himself on defense here, and this is again allowing for Olsen, Welch, and Lacey to work that gap out for that race lead all that much more, about 0.7 of a second between the top three altogether. You can see Foster trying to make something work down on the bottom. Kind of taking a look at the gap over the last several laps, and you can tell just how much it's closed in. I mean, Brian Dees, despite being in that battle with Ricciard Jr., has been running Foster down, and now Foster, I think, starting to get a little bit more impatient here, trying to find the inside of Tony Hilbrands as he worked back around to turn numbers 1 and 2. Oh, and he's around! Hard at the outside wall for Foster, and caution is out. Got loose, overcorrected. And that is good nights for Big Red. Caution is out again with 15 laps to go, and here's how it happened. Just transitioning, I think. Yeah. Oh, man. Heavy hits. Heavy hits there into that outside wall. Good chunk of drivers down and into pit road. Among them, your race leaders. Bridge Rosen leads us in. Will he lead us out? Does anybody go for a gamble? Nobody yet. It's looking like it'll be 4 tires and fuel all the way around, at least for the top groupings. Welch trying to beat out Olsen. He can't get there. I think Lacey might have picked off Welch, though, at the line. And we'll see here. I think he has. He has gotten out of turn number out of the pits there through the dog leg. So we'll be going green with close to 10 laps left to go. We're going to take one final step back, and we'll be back with the remainder of this race here tonight. You are watching, once again, the Amsoil 150 on Green Flag TV.
Amsoil runs on freedom and has since 1972. We changed the industry by formulating the first API-qualified 100% synthetic motor oil. The rest of the market has been trying to follow our lead ever since. But a head start is a head start. We punish our products firsthand in our world-class laboratories and beyond, because some things can't be learned from a test tube. Run with us.
Pace car is into pit road. It'll be 11 laps the distance when we go green flag racing for what could be the final time in the High Tide Racing League MF Racing Designs Cup Series for the Amsoil 150 in Avondale, Arizona, down to the Phoenix Raceway. It has been a wild race so far, and it is only going to get crazier as we march our way into the final few laps of this race. Green flag is back up and in the air. Tony Hilbrand immediately jumps to the inside of Olsen. Olsen into the wall. Bridger Olsen scrapes the outside wall out of turn number 2. And now, in the midst of the back straightaway, he is locked in a side-by-side battle with Hilbrand, who did not pit under this last caution flag. And now Hilbrand stops at the bottom. Olsen with the crossover back for the race lead. 3 wide. Oh, look how Welch spinning it around. And the field scrambles to miss him. Oh, and he is pile-driven by Rick Thompson. And we have another yellow flag. That was only going to end one way, and it was like that. To the replay as it gets messy out of the second corner. This is the tail end of it. We'll try to back this up a bit more. Get a look. A bit further back than we intended, but you know what? It'll work. It's Cody Welch. Just got caught in the middle of an accordion effect. Bit of a con from all three, and that spins the 85 car around, and then, man, heavy hit there for the 75. And then, of course, Rick Thompson getting involved. Just ducked down on the bottom, and right there is Cody Welch. Spins Thompson around, and he tags the outside wall. Whoa, Kenfield escaping down to the bottom. On board with Thompson. Oh! Good grief. And then Jonathan Canfield saw all of this going on in front of him and started to check it up. And whoopsie daisy. To the inside, he escapes carnage. Could we go for the Baker's dozen? We're one away. We're on caution flag number 12. So I believe he got about 2 laps left to green here. This one now, and we're gonna see if we can't talk to one of the drivers, of course, that was collected this mess. We'll see if we can't get in touch with the driver from Speed Mafia today, Rick Thompson. This is Nolan Rample up here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah.
Well, it was unfortunately not the way that you wanted this race to end for you. Kind of walk us through what happened there.
Honestly, I was just trying to work my way back through the traffic after getting loose, going through the dog leg, and next thing I know, I saw that 85 sideways in front of me. Just had nowhere to go.
Well, you're going to find yourself at least be able to get back onto the racetrack here. Do you reckon you can get back onto the lead lap if you get another caution that falls your way with a lucky dog and maybe fights for some more spots?
Yeah, I hope so. Hopefully they continue to race a little too hard, and wreck each other, and maybe I get a chance to get up there and get something because I'm fast.
Well, you've certainly been fast all night long. We'll see if some more speed will fall your way with that lucky dog, excuse me. For now, though, best of luck out there on the restart.
Appreciate it.
It's Rick Thompson joining us in the Speed Mafia crew from Devil Hills, North Carolina. As we are one lap to green, you heard a bit of the in-sim communications going on between both drivers, spotters, and crew chiefs alike. You don't have to get to hear that in the background of these interviews, but again, it's that little extra flavor that sometimes we can bring to the booth whenever we bring these guys up. Not sure what they were discussing, but sounded casual enough. Richard Olsen will work into the restart zone. 5 laps to go from the Phoenix Raceway. Green flag is up in the air. Oh boy. 3 wide already. That's not going to go well. Down to turn 1. Hart going to bail from the bottom. Oh, never mind. Sticking it back in there. Hillbrandt's trying to cut him off. And Greenwell now catching line astern as well as, oh boy. No, oh, holy cow. You don't know quite where to put it, and where do you even look? What do you talk about? Everybody's ducking around everybody. Everybody's trying to go over these last minute glories in these last few laps. Look out as Sean Brennan, both him and Greenwell starting to go around, and 3 wide again out of turn number 2. Oh, Greenwell with a huge bobble down from the bottom. Oh, and in deep goes Kevin Foster. He'll scrape the outside wall. Everything is kicking off at the Phoenix Raceway with 3 laps left to go. Brian Dees, Hunter Karsten. Nose to tail, oh, a bit of a bobble for Wilson down at the back. And now Leakey getting punted around almost in towards turn numbers 3 and 4. Can he save it? Still working to save it. I think he's just able to recover. All the while, way up at the front, Tony Hillbrand and Sean Britt trying to duke it out for themselves, and that now leaves Bridger Olsen, and oh, caution is out, and it's a crash at the back coming to the white flag, and that's going to put us into overtime. Michael Thorpe Jr. has spun it around, and he's taking Kilrow with him. Oh, it might have been the other way around, actually, as Kilrow was getting sideways, and yeah, it was Kilrow to get around first, and oh, man! Heavy shot into the outside wall with our camera on the wall. Oh, good God, that is huge. On board with Thorpe first. Oh, good grief. That is, again, it's a hard hit, and it's a lot harder than it looks. And Kilrow didn't even get that bad of a deal at the end of all of that, as that was all down to Thorpe just having an unfortunate run. As Yup and Wall, both of them, heavy hits. Gonna want to get a look on board with Paul Wilson there. Wilson in the 86, just escaping disaster here. Hang on. Woof. Little correction, and off he goes. Caution flag. Number 13, we went for the Baker's dozen, and now, again, question comes into play. Do we make it to the end on a green? We have 3 attempts at overtime. I believe we're 2 laps to go now. So let's restack. Olsen, Lacey, McGill, Hart, Britt, Hillbrandts. We'll line up the first 3 rows. Gibson, Welch, Dees, and Karsten lock out the top 10. We just spoke to Rick Thompson under the last yellow flag when he found himself tanking the wall, and we were mentioning, you know, if he could get a good caution that could get him the lucky dog, he'd get back on the lead lap. He has gotten that now. He'll be at the tail end of this field, but now he's got the potential to go for some last-minute glories here and pick up some extra points. So it's fallen Rick Thompson's way. My big question is, can Olsen hang on to the lead? Benjamin Lacey, remember, had his huge incident earlier on. He crashed out of the lead, and ever since then, before lap 50, he's been slowly but surely clawing his way back through this field, picking off car after car, yellow after yellow, and now Lacey starts to Olsen's outside with 2 laps to go. There's so much potential here for the mother of all finishes, as Benjamin Lacey will be looking to work to the top side and will try to get around Bridger Olsen. How do you prepare? I don't think you do. You just send it. Whatever happens, happens. Pace car's off, and we start that long trip around back to the restart zone. Green flag is back up. Olsen hightails it down towards turn number 1 through the dogleg. Lacey clears from McGill on the top side, trying to at least. No, can't get there. Austin McGill down to the bottom and towards 1 and 2. That could give Olsen the gap he needs to run away. Oh, and Lacey gets loose, and he'll clobber the outside wall. McGill gets clear. Now can he run down Bridger Olsen with 1 to go? Olsen takes the white flag. We will not get another restart. We will not get another caution. It is now winner takes all. McGill trying to give it everything he's got in this final lap, but I think he's too far back to make anything happen. Working back straight away for the final time. We get a little bit loosey-goosey behind. But for Bridger Olsen, through turn numbers 3 and 4, he picks up the win in the Amsoil 150 from the Phoenix Raceway. And a huge crash across the line. Ricky Hart Jr. takes the outside wall, and the field piles up with him. What a run, though, for Bridger Olsen. Comes home and takes the win. It was not an easy one, and he had to work hard through all of the attrition over the course of the night. He'll now get his chance to bring it out of turn number 4. And he's taking an extra lap. Olsen taking a well-deserved race win here tonight. Of course, he's had an up-and-down start to his season as well, as he'll run in towards 3 and 4. I think he's trying to get a drift going through these final corners, but the grip's not allowing him. Oh, kicking up on 2 wheels. He's got too much grip in the 02 Honeybee car, as now he'll burn it down on the front straightaway. Well, with everything said and done here in this one, we'll be able to take a rundown of your official post-race results here from the Phoenix Raceway over here in Avondale. And again, what a night of racing it was. Completely intense ride. And I think everybody happy that this one is behind us and in the books. It is Bridger Olsen to take the race win ahead of Austin McGill. Benjamin Lacey will bring it home in 3rd to round out the podium. Sean Britt was in 4th with Cody Welch in 5th. Brian Dees was 6th with Kevin Foster in 7th. Ricky Hart Jr. takes it home in 8th with Connor Gibson in 9th. Tony Hilbrands rounds out the top 10. Hunter Carson will be in 11th with Paul Wilson in 12th. Dalton Kilroy was in 13th with Rick Thompson in 14th. David Leakey, Jason Greenwell were the last cars to finish this race on the lead lap. From there you had Curtis Yancey down in 17th, Jonathan Canfield, the first car not to finish this race in 18th. From there you have Michael Thorpe Jr., Eddie Haggy, Ethan Fonseca Moreno, Alonso Chicano not starting this race, along with Samuel Lawson, Dakota Knoll, and William Turnbull. Well, that, oh boy, that is a wrap for us here tonight, and I think everybody is looking to say, finally, it is a wrap for us here tonight. It was a long race. It was a really long race, but it was a good race as well, and we'll be able to get a chat with everybody at the end of the night, and we'll, of course, be able to kick things off with your race winner here, Bridger Olson, and we can track down your race winner, Bridger Olson, at the very least. Looking high, looking low. Bridger, where is Mr. Olson? He is not here with us, so we will not be able to get a chat with Olson first off. So you know what? Why not? We'll do the old. We'll take the old strategy. We'll start from the bottom. We'll work our way up to the top, and we'll kick things off with Benjamin Lacey, of course, finishing this race third place on the podium for you. And it was not an easy fight, and it was, I think, a fight that came to a bit of a premature close for you on that final green, white, checkered 10. Walks through the last two laps.
Oh, they were intense, crazy. I knew Austin was going to be pretty aggressive on that restart, so I knew I was going to have to get a good jump with Bridger. Thought I timed it pretty well, and Austin was right there with it, so he was able to keep his nose in there. And then it was just tight racing off the corner there of two. Got a little bit loose, so I kind of hit the wall a little bit, and that kind of stacked up the rest of us, and had to race it out there with Sean and Ricky and Cody and everyone else who was back there. But that's off to Bridger. He ran a really clean, good race. I think if he didn't lead the most laps, I'm not sure who did. So it was a dominant performance by him.
Of course, you found yourself leading the good chunk of the race in the first third at least, but you had to fight your way back to the field after you collected yourself in an incident in the dog leg like so many others did tonight. Walk us through the work of having to fight through the field only after the attrition came to a close.
Yeah, so the first thing that put me back there was, I think it was the exit of two. I thought I had it saved, and it just did a snap for right around. So I was hoping to keep it out of everybody's way and kind of keep it clean. I only had about maybe 45 seconds worth of damage, so I was able to kind of get down to about 10 seconds under that caution, and then got caught up in another big one in the dog leg a couple laps later. So at that point, I was just kind of play it safe and keep the fast repair that we used to keep it good, and work the way back up as we kind of came through. And one of the cautions came out after green flag, run for a little bit. We stayed out, and that kind of gives us a track position to keep. So that was key. Otherwise, it would have been tough working through the field.
First of two road courses in the season is coming on up next week at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. What's going to be the game plan then going to a racetrack that in its own right can sometimes demand a bit of attrition from itself?
Yeah, just being consistent, hit your marks, really not worry about where everyone else is, just kind of drive your race, drive the track. And, slow is smooth is fast. So that's kind of the game plan you got to roll through road courses.
Well, fair enough. Well, I wish you the best of luck then 1 week from now down at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. For now, congratulations on the third place finish. Best of luck going forward.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
As Benjamin Lacey joined us up for the number 3 spot on the podium, he will work to the runner-up, and it's the driver that was looking for a top 10, and Austin, I think it's safe to say, a top 10 you have achieved, as well as a huge points haul at the end of the night. What a way to turn what was looking to be a bit of a meager night around into what I would call a win. Austin, this is Nolan from Green Flag TV. Do you got us? Austin McGill might not be present right now. We will try to get in touch with him later on. We'll move things up then to the race winner. Bridger Olson will join us up here. And while Bridger, you did lead the most laps tonight, you led a good 2/3 of this race by my count. It's not like you're able to run away with it ever in this race.
No, definitely not. I'm surprised I even led that much. It definitely didn't feel like it. But yeah, the racing, other than the cautions, all night was pretty good, I felt like. Happy I was the one to come away with it.
Kind of walk us through this race as a whole, because obviously it was a tough fight you had with Benjamin Lacey, and it was one that you got handed on a silver platter when he found himself being taken out in the dog leg, and then from there you were able to just gap everybody on the restarts.
Yeah, I felt like I was pretty good on the restarts. Even when I wasn't the leader, I felt like I had pretty good timing on almost all of them. I felt like at the end there, I kind of, other than the restarts, I wasn't really fast, so I was worried about that. I was actually kind of happy when the last caution came out because it would help me gap the field again on the restart. So.
And we look forward now, obviously, to Indianapolis. With this win, you have locked yourself into the playoffs, into the round of 16, and I think it's a good thing then that you get it out of the way here early on as we get set to roll into a road course race, which those in themselves can be wild cards. What do you think we can expect from the 0-2 working into the Brickyard?
Ooh, I don't know. Probably anything from last place to first place, I guess. I can't give you an estimation.
He's out of line, but he's right. That's my response to that answer. Thank you for joining us up here, Bridger. Congratulations on the race win and locking yourself in. We'll hopefully talk to you again next week at Indy.
Hopefully. Thank you.
Oh, that was Bridger Olsen joining us up here from Victory Lane, and we'll take our second stab at getting in touch with your runner-up, Austin McGill. Austin, for the second time, this is Nolan Ramble up into the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do got you this time.
Hey, there we go. Well, we were looking to talk to you earlier on in this race, obviously, when you were running ninth. You mentioned your goal was just to get a top 10. Given the fact that you've turned that around into a second, I think you can call this night a great success, and what a turnaround for that Amsoil 99.
Yeah, it's a great turnout. I wasn't expecting to finish second, that's for sure. But I mean, I'll take what I got moving forward, and just hopefully I could keep this good momentum going.
Let's kind of walk us through this race as a whole. When did things really start to, I think, turn around for you and so you can work your way up towards the front of this field and start battling for podium positions?
I don't think there was really a significant point when it all turned around, but the 51 car had a pretty big impact in front of me, and that kind of helped me out as I was starting to fall back a little bit. So I was able to get some new tires on, and then grew me back up with the pack so I could get the rest of my damage fixed and just try to push on, and that's what we did.
Well, we'll work forward, obviously, into the Indianapolis Motor Speedway up next. It's our first of two road course races. Are you confident in your abilities being able to work your way into a good position there as well?
Yes, very much. I like to consider myself a pretty big road course guy when it comes to running the NASCAR sanctioned vehicles on road courses. I feel like it suits my style a lot more. I'm a big fan of road racing, so hopefully that plays to my strengths, and maybe I can get a win next week.
Oh, well, big words. We'll hopefully see you on Victory Lane then 1 week from now, or at least we'll be talking to you again on the podium. Congratulations on that second place, and again, good job on turning this race around.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Nolan.
That was Austin McGill joining us up for the number 2 spot down on the podium, and that is going to be about a wrap for us then here tonight. What a night of racing it was. It was a wild night all the way from start to finish here in this one, and it is only going to continue to get more and more crazy the more we get into the season. Next week, we, of course, go to our first road course race of the season. It is going to be over at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the road course. 40 laps of racing action. Austin Edstrom will hopefully be back at the broadcast booth with me by then as well, and we'll be able to move things along as we get set to lock out the month of September. Of course, Austin will also be back with me on Wednesday night. Not this Wednesday night, but next Wednesday night for the Beer League, as the Beer League is off this week. Come join Dylan Coyle and myself as we'll go racing on Tuesday nights for the Ole Miss Rolex Xfinity Series once again. This time after a thriller at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, they're going to be looking to make their run at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway as well, but they'll be racing on the Oval. The Speed Cup Series will finish out the round of 16 in their playoff season at the Bristol Motor Speedway this week, and then, of course, the trucks will return to Pocono for the tricky triangle down in the Keystone State. From now, though, from us here at Green Flag TV, it's time to close. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. What a wild night of racing it has been throughout the course of this one, and we're going to wish every one of you a happy week, and we'll hopefully see you later on in the week, and if not, next week. Same time, same place on Green Flag TV.